Hello there. I listened to the Brexit negotiation opening speeches given by the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson and the EU Chief Brexit negotiator Michel Barnier, and it was as if they were talking about two completely different negotiations. Firstly, as ever, please kick that YouTube algorithm up the jacksie by giving this video a big, fat like. And I do generally upload new videos every single day, so please do check back at least daily for new uploads. Now, after 3.5 years of wrangling over Brexit and eventually signing into a withdrawal agreement treaty and a political declaration to guide the trade negotiations over the future UK-EU relationship, the EU and UK looked more to me like two darts teams both turning up for a match at different wrong pubs, where one side played pétanque and the other team played bar billiards. Right from the off, these EU-UK trade talks look more to me like ending in no deal in December 2020. While Boris Johnson was delivering a visionary speech in Greenwich College, talking about the opportunities now before us to trade around the world while being a champion of the free trade that could lift millions out of abject poverty, Michel Barnier was offering a more morose prospect of a UK tied down on the EU level playing field and kowtowing to the European Court of Justice. Yes, Brussels and London are poles apart in their ideas of what the future should hold in store for the United Kingdom. While Michel Barnier was insisting on the UK adhering to EU rules on all manner of things, Boris said there was no need. The UK had as good, if not better, rules than the EU, he said. And the more you listen to Boris, as he talks about the UK re-engaging with the Commonwealth and being on the cusp of engaging in a global 3D game of chess, exercising muscles we haven't used for decades, the more irrelevant the EU starts to sound. And with Barnier insisting that we should immediately start putting in place border checks between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK, you know that a free trade deal was never really on the cards. Either that, or the EU wants the UK to agree to a permanent border between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK, just in case of a no deal at the end of the talks. Then there's the matter of Gibraltar. As I warned over the weekend, the EU has now confirmed that it will be attempting to use Spain's ridiculous so-called territorial claim over Gibraltar as leverage in these trade talks. The EU has quoted not from the withdrawal agreement itself, nor from the political declaration, but from the records of an EU Council meeting as an excuse to keep Gibraltar out of the territorial scope for any agreement reached, unless the UK and Spain have come to a prior and separate agreement between themselves over the future of the rock. In its negotiating statement issued today, Brussels says, "As regards the territorial scope of the envisaged partnership, it is recalled that in the statements to the minutes of the European Council meeting of the 25th of November 2018, the following declaration of the European Council and of the Commission has been included. After the United Kingdom leaves the Union, Gibraltar will not be included in the territorial scope of the agreements to be concluded between the Union and the United Kingdom. However, this does not preclude the possibility to have separate agreements between the Union and the United Kingdom in respect of Gibraltar. Without prejudice to the competencies of the Union and in full respect of the territorial integrity of its member states, as guaranteed by Article 4(2) of the Treaty on European Union, those separate agreements will require a prior agreement of the Kingdom of Spain. That means for a trade deal to also apply to Gibraltar, the UK must agree something with Spain first, probably something like joint sovereignty. And the statement says quite clearly at paragraph 162 that Any agreement between the Union and the United Kingdom, negotiated on the basis of these negotiating directives, will not include Gibraltar. With its intentions with regard to Northern Ireland and Gibraltar, the EU is not respecting the full sovereignty of the UK, so that kills off this proposed EU negotiating strategy on day one, as far as I'm concerned. In fact, as far as I can see, the EU is gambling its continued trade surplus with the UK on the Spanish and Irish poker chips. Then there's the fisheries, where in its statement the EU talks about the management of shared fish stocks, putting a fisheries agreement in place by July the 1st, and says, besides the cooperation on conservation, management and regulation, the objective of the provisions on fisheries should be to uphold Union fishing activities. In particular, it should aim to avoid economic dislocation for Union fishermen that have traditionally fished in the United Kingdom waters. Now, I don't know about you, but much of this sounds like EU membership to me. Are Eurocrats unable to think outside of that EU box? Anyway, remember that this is just day one. There's a long way to go yet. But looking at the positions taken by London and Brussels, it's hard to see where agreement can truly be reached without a colossal climb down by one side or the other, where Northern Ireland, Gibraltar, fishing or ECJ jurisdiction, and not forgetting defence and security, are concerned. Now, this is just a foretaste of what's to come, but I would say that if the EU wins on any one of the above points, they will herald it as a sort of victory. But Boris only has to cede the smallest bit of ground on any one of them to become political toast. But you might be tickled to hear that the Channel Islands of Guernsey, Alderney and Sark have temporarily suspended EU fishing boats, mostly, if not all of them French, from operating in their waters while a post-Brexit Day licensing system is put in place until the end of 2020. And French fishermen are already expressing worries about their futures, as fears mount of other EU fishing boats coming to French areas to operate. There are also fears that fish prices will increase for EU consumers as a result of all of this as well. Anyway, if you want to hear more from me, please don't forget to subscribe and also press that little bell, or you won't get any notifications. And if you want to see more of me, buy a mug with my mug on it. So what do you think about the opening moves in these trade talks? Please share and comment, and thank you for watching. Please do like and share this video, and also subscribe to my channel. And when subscribing, please do remember to press on the little bell next to the subscribe button. That way you'll get an alert every single time I put up a new video. And thank you very much for watching.